tensions are rising as Title 42 rolls out and Title 8 comes into effect with a battery of regulations that aims at limiting migration flow. In Palestine, yet a new attack by Israeli forces on the Gaza Strip has killed 3 more people. These mark a total of 25 locals killed by Israeli airstrike in the past 3 days of constant violence. Pakistan Supreme Court has ordered the immediate release of former Prime Minister Imran Khan after considering his arrest to be illegal. Hello, welcome to From the South. I'm Ana Marrero from the teleSUR headquarters in Caracas, Venezuela. We begin with the news. Stay with us. In the United States, tensions are rising as Title 42 rolls out Thursday night and Title 8 comes into effect with a battery of regulations that aims at limiting migrant flow. In this context, the U.S. border with Mexico has been reinforced with thousands of soldiers, weird and technical themes. Title 42, which is now coming at an end, was enforced during the pandemic and allowed for the expanding deportation of migrants. The states of New York and Chicago declared a state of emergency earlier this week over Texas Republican Governor Greg Abbott's move to bus migrants to Democrat-run cities as a protest to President Biden's immigration strategy. After the Title 42 expires, Title 8 will come into effect. While this policy is supposed to offer legal pathways to asylum seekers, the Biden administration has passed a series of measures aimed at curbing migration, similar to the policies promoted by Trump that the Democrat had promised to repeal during his election campaign.
After Title 42 runs out, meaning as soon as Thursday, Title 8 goes into effect. Title 8 is an aggressive policy in which they detain you if you don't have document or you don't have a valid asylum claim. But if you come back after deportation, yeah.
In this context, a Mexican government delegation visited the White House on Wednesday with proposals regarding the migration flow ahead of the expiration of Title 42. According to the Mexican Ministry of Foreign Affairs, one of the proposals was to increase funding to address the root cause of migration, and other was to strengthen dialogue within the region. The text that was present stated that the delegation analyzed new collaboration policies to address the causes of the migratory phenomenon within the framework the Farmware Pattern to Starting Opportunities program in Central America and the Caribbean. On Thursday, in Venezuela, the Minister of Defense of Venezuela, Vladimir Padrino Lopez, met his Colombian counterpart, Ivan Velázquez Gómez, at the headquarters of the Ministry of Popular Power for Defense. The meeting between both high-ranking officials focused on the review of the cooperation agenda between their nations, including issues relating to defense and border security, as well as the coordination of joint security and defense plans between Colombia and Venezuela to combat border crimes. Bolivian President Luis Arce said on Wednesday that he was open to using the Chinese yuan for international trade, citing similar move by Argentina and Brazil to use the Asian country's currency for the transactions with China.
Several countries, including Argentina, Brazil, Arab countries, and others, are already reaching agreements with China, the main supplier of manufactured goods in the world, to trade in China's yuan rather than the US dollar, which is an objective acknowledgement of the geopolitical changes we are experiencing and of the new pole that is emerging in the world.
China and Ecuador signed on Wednesday a free trade agreement FTA negotiated in just 10 months. Beijing and Quito closed negotiations on the agreement in December to improve bilateral trade, which in 2022 reached a record $13.90 billion, according to the National Central Bank. According to the Ecuadorian Trade Minister Julio José Prado, the agreement will allow the South American country to sell 99.6% of its products without tariff. Despite its signing on Wednesday, the agreement still has to pass through the Constitutional Court, and the legislature were reports were requested to review the decision. Let's take a very short break now, but remember you can now follow us on our TikTok as teleSUR English, in which you will be able to find news in different formats, news updates, and more. Stay tuned for more news. Welcome back to From the South. On Thursday, Turkey's presidential candidate for the Homeland Party, Hürrem İnce, announced that he was withdrawing his candidacy for May 14th election. İnce, leader of the center-left Homeland Party, was one of the 4 presidential candidates in the country. The now former candidate had granted about 8% of the votes when his candidacy was first announced, but his popularity rating have since dropped to about 2% according to the opinion polls. The politician did not say that he was stepping down in favor of opposition candidate Kamil Kılıçdaroğlu, but analysts said his withdrawal is likely to benefit the National Alliance. Ince, however, said the Homeland Party, which he formed in 2021, will still run in parliamentary elections and call for votes for his party.
I'm withdrawing my candidacy. I'm doing this for my hometown. I offer Turkey a third option. I say, neither the people nor the nation, neither the right nor the left. Let's take Atatürk's way. I tried to open a channel. We couldn't succeed in this channel.
The Spanish government approved on Thursday measures worth more than $2 billion to alleviate the impact of a prolonged drought that has affected its agricultural sector. Isabel Rodríguez García, spokeswoman for the Spanish government, highlighted that the country's water reserves are below 50% of their capacity on average, while levels have fallen to approximately 25% in Andalusia and Catalonia. Rodriguez also highlighted that laws aim at the adoption of urgent measures in agricultural and hydraulic matters in view of the deterioration of the sector as a consequence of the armed conflict in Ukraine and the drought. In April, the Intergovernmental Panel of Experts on Climate Change published a report that noted Spain will be much warmer and drier by 2050.
Our goal is to increase the volume of water Spain uses from this non-conventional source, water reuse, from the current 10% to 20% by 2027. The situation of accumulated drought and reduced rainfall in recent years, and, in particular, in this first quarter of 2023, is sensitive and delicate in the river basins of the Guadalquivir, the Andalusian basins, the inland basins of Catalonia, and those of the Guadiana. The Júcar and the Segura require special vigilance.
An earthquake shocked Japan's capital, Tokyo, and surrounding areas on Thursday, injuring several people and causing minor damages. According to the Japan Meteorological Agency, the quake with a 5.4 magnitude had its epicenter in Chiba Prefecture, the southeast of Tokyo. Meanwhile, authorities confirmed that 4 people were hurt, including a man who was hit by a fallen ceiling light, while some rail services was cancelled or delayed. Likewise, some homes sustained damages to their roof, and there were reports of broken windows.
政府としては地震発生後直ちに官邸危機管理センターに官邸連絡室を設置し、被害状況の早急な把握に努めたところであります。揺れの強かった地域にお住まいの方々におかれては、引き続き今後1週間程度、震度5強程度の地震の発生に注意をして行動いただくようお願いをしたいと思います。政府としては地震発生後直ちに官邸危機管理センターに官邸連絡室を設置し、被害状況の
On Thursday, authorities in Canada announced that wildfires are slowing the dying down in the western region of the country, thanks to cooler temperatures and rain coupled with the work of firefighters. However, they warned that in the province of Alberta, the danger remains latent. The releases indicated that the number of evacuees due to the impact of the fire dropped to 24,000 from 30,000, and assured that in total 76 of the 110 wildfires remain active in western Alberta province, 23 of which are still considered out of control. Colin Blair, the executive director of the Alberta Emergency Management Agency, warned that although it has risen in the last 24 hours, the situation may change due to the dry conditions in many regions of the Western Canada. In the same context, members of indigenous communities have noted that in the northern part of Alberta province, indigenous people such as those in the Creed and Little Red River communities are deeply affected by these wildfires. Patty Haddu, Federal Minister of Indigenous Services, affirmed that there has been a huge loss of infrastructures while no loss of human lives is reported. Haddu also said that 4,000 people were evacuated, more than 150 homes were destroyed or demolished. According to the 2021 Canadian census, there were 1.8 million Indigenous people in Canada, representing 5% of the total population. teleSUR English continues to grow. You can now tune in from 33 different African countries through StarSat dial 461 and join our Latin American alternative broadcast. We'll find a short break and we'll be right back. Welcome back. On Thursday in Palestine, a new attack by Israeli forces on the Gaza Strip killed 3 people. An Israeli drone attacked 2 apartments in the city of Khan Yunis, south of the Gaza Strip, killing 3 citizens and wounding at least 7 people. Palestinian authorities reported that among the fatalities was Meir Ali Sam, an officer in the Al-Quds brigades. With these events, the death toll in the last 3 days of consecutive Israeli attacks on Gaza rose to 25 and wounded almost reach 70. Gaza Strip is home to more than 2 million people, marking it one of the most densely populated areas in the world, and it has been under Israeli air, land, and sea blockade since 2007. Palestinians mourned the death of Islamic Jihad commander Ali Ghali and his brother Mahmoud, who were killed in an Israeli attack carried out by Israeli forces in the Gaza Strip during their funeral in Khan Yunis. Let's listen to Yasmin Ghali, daughter of the murdered Ali Ghali, after the crime committed by the occupied forces.
I was following the news and did not sleep in light of these circumstances. I was watching the news channels and heard that there was a bombing of a residential apartment in the town of Hamad, and I kept watching because I had relatives living there until I received the news that him, my uncle, and cousin had been murdered. The three of them had been killed together as they were all in the same apartment. It is a shock to all of us. My siblings started crying and no one could control their emotions. We were all in such a shock. I was waiting for him to return like he would in any other war, but this time he did not come back.
On Thursday, the foreign minister of France, Germany, Jordan, and Egypt called for an end to violence between Israel and Gaza militants who have been trading heavy fire for the last 3 days.
With each new day where people die, there will only be more losers and no winners, nowhere. So the bloodshed must stop now.
On her part, the French Minister for Europe and Foreign Affairs, Catherine Colonna, also urged for an end to violence in Gaza as the death toll from Israeli airstrikers in the Gaza Strip climbed to 25.
Unfortunately, we often need to remind Israel of its responsibilities with regards to international law and the necessary proportionality in its bombings, and about the need to spare civilian targets. Israel has the right to defend itself, but it needs to do so by respecting the law. Violence is not subsiding but increasing, and we know that violence breeds more violence. It kills, but lack of a political alternative and misery also kill. Let me be clear, just like my colleagues have been, the spiral of violence won't stop until a fair solution to the Israeli-Palestinian conflict is achieved.
On Thursday, China called on the United States to stop plundering the natural resources in Syria and withdraw its military forces from the country.
We urge the United States to withdraw its troops illegally stationed in Syria for so many years. We urge to stop forcing a plan to dump nuclear contaminated water into the sea and to stop provoking division and confrontation and using the banner of international rules to serve its own hegemony and self-interest.
Pakistan's Supreme Court has ruled the arrest of former Prime Minister Imran Khan to be illegal and ordered for him to be immediately released. The top court's order came after the Khan's legal team challenged his arrest by the National Accountability Bureau in a corruption case on Tuesday that triggered violent protests across the country and prompting the government to call out the army to help restore order. The former premier was arrested on corruption charges and remaining in custody in a culmination of months of political crisis during which he was waging a campaign of defenses against the country's military establishment. However, the Supreme Court also instructs that the third-grade Al-Insaf party chief would remain under police protection at the police line compound in Islamabad, where he has been kept since his arrest. We have come to the end of this brief, but you can find these and many other stories on our website at telesurenglish.net. You can also join us on our socials. We're on Facebook, Twitter, and on Instagram as well. For TeleSUR English and from the South, I'm Ana Marrero, and thank you for watching.